The biggest event in Clash Royale every single year has been all over the world. We've been to Tokyo, we've been to Finland, we've been to Los Angeles. Today, we find ourselves in the city inside the trees, Atlanta, Georgia for DreamHack 2025 for the Clash Royale League World Finals. Hello, welcome, I'm Rich Slayton, that's my brother Andrew Guy. We got Joshua AC Sharon, Jackson 2CJ Walda here to bring you the premier event of the Clash Royale season. And Andrew, I know I am absolutely pumped for this field we have today.
3 days of action, one champion, $500,000 on the line. We are so ready to go.
We can't wait to get into it, and we have 12 of the best players on the planet. It feels like every single year we say this, that the field is the best one we've ever seen. If you look at these 12 players, across all of them, we have 37 total World Finals appearances.
37 in... That is absolutely insane between these 12 players. You have Mohamed making his 5th appearance in a row. You have both of our 2-time champions in Mo and Mugi here. We have a former world champion in Igor, and of course, the new players that are being thrown into the fray that have never been on the CRL World Final stage before in Ian and Frontier Guard. I cannot wait to see what everyone brings to the table.
This is going to be absolutely insane, and of course, they have to go through the gauntlet. Andrew, walk us through our format.
That's right. 12-player double elimination bracket. I love the format. The top 4 players in points get that ever-important first round bye, which goes so far when you talk about World Finals and how steep the competition is. Best of 3 dual mode. If you don't know what dual mode is, you can't repeat any cards through any said set. But we also have best of 5s in our lower bracket, upper bracket, and our grand finals. So you have really got to put in your work. You've got to work that decksmanship. And of course, the last player standing is crowned the greatest in the world and a fat $200,000 paycheck to go with it.
Of course, all of them want to hoist and wear that crown, but the prize money is serious here. And as you see, the step up when you get into that 3rd place match, that 2nd place match, that 1st place match, a single best of 3 or 2 of those if we have a repeat for $100,000 to hit that $200,000 grand prize. And of course, the Pharaoh himself, 2-time world champion, knocking on the door of $1 million in total prize pool earned in his career. He could do that here this week. Game number 1 now. Looking at what Igor's been doing in gameplay for a while, my suspicion is that Sandbox and his coach are going to plan to do 2 things. To cover Cycle, of course, but also cover Royal Hogs. Royal Hog's Fireball bait has been one of Igor's go-to opening decks, so I would not be surprised, even though it's not his usual style to see Sandbox maybe having a Mega Knight in here, but now that I see those 2 cards, might be going RG.
I mean, they're both going Comfort, it looks like. Yeah, Mortar coming out right away. You see that when you see the Cannoneer and the minions, of course, trying to get that Mortar cycle so you can get the Evo Mortar in cycle as soon as possible, and there's the RG. You see that with the Hunter. Hunter not really paired with much else out there in the world, so very excited to see the 2 guys play their 2 Comfort decks in game number 1. It's a great way to kind of pacify those nerves.
And we'll see, Evo Ghost. First look at it in today's World Finals, and the Evo Royal Ghost is an absolute monster.
Yeah. And I really enjoy this deck. I also really like the fact that recently things have changed in Clash Royale where you can have more than just one champion on the board. Obviously, the most recent placed champion is the one that has the ability. But this has made the Goblinstein come back into the meta a lot more. This has made Archer Queen pop back in. It's been really, really great to see multiple champions on the board and then watching the best in the world use that to their advantage.
And a slight swerve here from Igor, as the ladder deck he's been playing was also a Mortar Miner deck, or we haven't seen a Miner yet, obviously. He was playing Mortar Miner Skelly King with Poison, also a Musketeer in that deck. So a little surprising to see maybe this adjustment, but also it's World Finals. You want to be less predictable.
And with the Lightning in here, this is not my favorite matchup if I'm a Mortar player. You know, that Lightning is going to get a lot of value on the Mortar. Then you have to think about, well, how do I stop that RG? Well, if I'm able to get my Cannoneer down or my Cannon down off of its wheels. So there's just a lot here for Igor to think about when he talks about this first round matchup. Although, knowing he's going up against someone like Sandbox, he was probably thinking about RG being a possibility.
And there goes the Miner going to work on the Hunter, and the Fisherman is not going to get the Goblinstein that far away. The monster dies, but no ability usage here.
And you have to use the arrows on that Evo Royal Ghost. Just does so much damage when it is not touched. And the good thing, though, when you talk about Igor's matchup are the minions. The minions are going to be really, really difficult to get to when you're talking about how Sandbox is going to be able to break through. Minions are almost a free defense against RG a lot of the time, but if you have a Hunter plus an E-Spirit, the Hunter doesn't have to be too close as long as that E-Spirit jumps well. So there you can see right now, minions on top of that RG. Doesn't have to spend any more. E-Spirit comes down, but Hunter's out of cycle, so you see a very, very clean defense from Igor.
And that Fish Boy going down. Back to another one here in the middle. Miner to the outside. Monster pulled to the center. But that cannon cart on the left-hand side has to force out that Royal Giant. Little shake of the head from Igor in that interaction.
Yeah, I mean, I think Igor probably was getting a little more focused on this defense than he wanted. He would have loved to hit that ability on the right-hand side because that monster got to the tower, but he knew he was maybe down a little bit in Elixir, and if he had done that, he'd be hurting, just kind of as he is right now. He's having to spend a lot defensively.
2481, the mark on the top right-hand tower of Sandbox. Now the left-hand side starting to get some work from the Ghost. There's a King Tower activation, which could limit some of the damage from those miners as we go on.
This deck that Igor is running a lot of times has lightning in it instead of arrows. Obviously, this is going to speed his cycle up a bit. We saw the arrows come out earlier to save that Royal Ghost Evo, but when you talk about the lightning, nice to clean up the Hunters. So Igor's just kind of have to pick and choose where he wants that spell value to come through as one of the first and second, maybe third. There it is. Third RG shot comes in. Now arrows come down. RG opposite lane. And Sandbox has taken control of game number 1 with only 1 minute remaining.
The risk-reward play does not pay off for Igor. Now, he might not have been able to get to that mortar in time for the RG, decided to go to the right-hand side instead. But as we go into the triple elixir final minute here in a mortar miner deck, Igor is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you know, basically you're counting only on minor damage. You need that mortar to defend. And then, like I said earlier, this deck runs lightning a lot. That lightning helps you take care of the fish boy. When you got that goblin monster coming across the bridge, if you can lightning the fisherman as soon as he's dropped, then you can actually get damage on top of tower. Having arrows, you don't have that ability.
Final 30 seconds, lots on the left-hand side. Igor is forced to play defense here, cannot do much on offense, and I don't think there's a significant way for him to get this damage back.
No, I mean, there really isn't. Sandbox knows it. He's just got to keep up the pressure enough to where Igor cannot get a big push going, and that fisherman just completely controls the board. It is such a nuisance, but if you, again, you talk about the lightning, which is usually paired with the Goblinstein in this deck, not having that has been brutal in game number 1, and now our former 2019 world champion, our former 2021 third place finisher is going to have to find a way to turn this set around.
Here we go, number 2.
And back to 2 Princess Towers, which feels pretty much like the number 1, Cannoneer maybe number 2, although that Chef does cause problems.
Berserker out first, Hog for Sandbox. So Sandbox flexing some of those skills he said in cycle early on.
And Igor with the Fish Boy getting a nice King Tower activation to start things off. Obviously going a little bit heavier here right out the gates. And the Monk. Monk finding decent targets so far. Obviously with the minions, that is a projectile. And when you talk about that Evo Furnace, it does okay.
This Monk variation of RG, not as popular these days. It definitely has kind of gone to the wayside, but as we just saw, Igor playing the Royal Ghost in game number 1, which has become kind of the dominant version of RG, not available for him here in game 2.
Yeah, but I like his options. He's got the Hunter, he's got the Evo Hunter, he's got the guards with the E-Spirit, and he's got the Fish Boy to all kind of control that Hog. This Prince is an interesting pick, and I do like it. He's got strong single target DPS, but Igor does get a handful of shots in here. 1937, lowest tower on the board for Sandbox. Igor's only got 7 elixir to deal with this.
Hog in, gonna get a few. King Tower will limit that, and the DPS shuts it down early. 2369 to 1937 along that left-hand side as we've passed the first half of our opening 3.
These guards are so great for Igor in this matchup. And you talk about being able to deal with the Prince, surround the Mega Knight, get DPS on top of the Hog with the E-Spirit. These are all great ways to control what Sandbox is throwing at him.
Furnace sets up in front of King Tower. Will finish off that Barbarian as he pops out of the barrel.
And I am excited for the moment when Igor does pull the trigger on his spell. Something the Sandbox has to be very aware of. Guards to protect.
And just going to pull this all apart now.
Yeah, that's perfect. You get the ability in. Prince can't do anything. Minions are off the board. Now you got an Evo RG coming across the bridge. Fishboy should be back in cycle to deal with the Mega Knight.
Final 30 seconds regulation. Evo Mega Knight comes and is going to knock that RG out of contention over and over and over again. Here we go. Push on the right-hand lane. Nothing there for it.
E-Spirit up high. Guards down low. And luckily with that King Tower activation, those minions, with the increased range on minions, they're going to stay off to the right there. Sandbox takes the lead.
A lot of damage as we go into sudden death overtime. Now the lightning comes out. Pretty healthy Fishboy. Can it survive? And it will to back up. Here we go. Royal Giant down. Big moment for Igor.
And MK's there, but obviously not the Evo to MK. We should be able to get a couple shots here from the RG. There's the second shot, and this should be pretty easy cleanup. Hog Rider behind.
Yeah, just pulling the Hog Rider out is going to be difficult. Monk maybe gets a couple of punches here, does disrupt once, and Bar Barrel has to come out. Hog gets the shot very close. 14-17, 10-37, about 400 HP, separating these two in the final 90 seconds.
And does get that ability just in time. Going to help with that Furnace, going to help get some damage on tower. Furnace is off the board, so you don't have to worry about those Fire Spirits when you got the Princess Tower. Really nice stuff there for Igor when you talk about interactions.
Setting up the Prince in the back. Sandbox has been getting good value out of dual lane pressure. Fisherman's out early here.
Perfect.
And beautiful.
And you got the Fishboy to help here with the Prince. So right now, Igor has all the answers. Gets that lightning in.
Yep.
Don't need to get the damage in. You don't need to force the RG, but he still can get the RG down to create some more pressure. The big thing is you don't want to do that and then lose to a Hog plus minions plus whatever push on the opposite side of the board as we're seeing right now.
EQ in, there goes the Hog. E-Spirit to hold. Guards get wrecked on. And wow, the arrows reflect. Huge for Igor.
Yeah, Sandbox was trying to read it. He was trying to get the arrows in, then the E-Spirit late to clean up those guards, knowing that that would be the way for the Hog to break through. And that's exactly what you want in our first set of the day. We're going to game 3. Igor evens things up.
Game number 3.
Winner goes on to face Mohamed Light. Person that loses here goes down to the elimination bracket, where we will be saying goodbye to 2 players today.
Bomber and Valk against Drill. Great stuff for Sandbox picking here.
And I was just going to say, it looks like a Drill, not necessarily mirror, but a Drill matchup. Igor also has a Valkyrie and Evo Witch to deal with.
And Archer Queen will do her job here in the middle. Ability activated.
I don't know what it is, but when I see a couple Archer Queens on the board, it just makes me nervous. The amount of DPS there, the ability being able, you drop that second one down, you get another instant ability, basically, which is really, really interesting when you talk about how it works having multiple champions on the board.
So both guys slowing down a bit as we get to 10, Drill out, and Sandbox cycling that snowball, wants to get the Evo variation in.
Yep, and that's something that Igor is going to have to note and just recognize, okay, I have to keep track. Keeping track of snowball cycle when you are playing against Drill is the most important thing to do, period. You have to know what to drop when that Evo snowball is in cycle so that you can double drop immediately. He's going to want to cover with something like Ice Spirit plus Skellies, have his log available, or the Valkyrie available after that. Go cheap in the beginning so that you can get the elixir and have it stay on the board, right? If you use Evo snowball against Skellies and Ice Spirit as opposed to Valkyrie, it's just a little bit different. So I'd like to see the Valkyrie drop second, or the log drops second.
Evo Witch, Snowball going to go try to put that more in the range of the Queen. Great Ice Spirit from Igor. And now Queen ability not a danger as she crosses the bridge.
Interesting with the Goblin Hut here. And that log was almost early.
Into double elixir, final minute of regulation. So far, nobody's really broken through, just some of that Drill surfacing from the ground damage.
I really like this aggressive Queen at the bridge because Igor's going to have to overspend. He's only got a really the Valkyrie is what you want to use to deal with the Queen in these moments, or if you have a Witch cycled early, but that poison is going to make him a little bit more wary about playing the Witch in the back. So nice aggressive play there from Sandbox, and here's what we're talking about. Ice Spirit comes in early, Log comes in early actually, and now Igor just gonna eat some damage there as he's trying to make something happen on the opposite side of the board, but Evo, Valkyrie plus Bomber, and there is very little damage done by Igor.
Sandbox having to go to 1 for this though, so now he's starting to build Elixir back up. We'll see if Igor can press the slight advantage.
Oh, and the Witch gets pushed back. So now she's got a tank, and now the Skellies are coming back out. Skellies are taking for the Witch. Witch is going to heal up, and she gets some great shots in. 21-65, 23-88. Evo Valkyrie activates King Tower.
Wow.
That is a great eating of damage from Igor.
You know, we talked about the risk reward not paying off earlier. Here it pays off in spades. As we go into sudden death, Igor with the lead and that very important King Tower activation.
23-62, 21-65. 100 seconds remain in the first best of 3 at our 2025 World Finals.
Guards to cover drill. Archer Queen to the right-hand lane. Poison starting to chip. Sandbox really not making a decision here. He's just going to go ahead and get dual lane pressure.
And Evo Valkyrie coming in at the perfect time. Log coming in to clean things up. 22-82, 21-39. Evo Witch does a great job on the right-hand side.
Yeah, that ability might be some elixir that Sandbox would want back. Bomber and Valk going to work there against, oh my.
The Valk pulling it away. Rocket gonna come in on top of the Bomber, and Igor is in the lead with a minute left.
What else would you expect for that last card? Igor, Rocket, a match made in heaven.
And Valkyrie in a great spot there. Gonna tank, gonna clean up the drill, deal with the Queen, deal with the opposite Valk. And now Sandbox maybe feeling a bit of the pressure, just kind of dropping at the bridge. Obviously doesn't want to give any Rocket value.
Yeah, this is interesting. The Archer Queen trying to clear everything off. Gonna get some stabs from the Goblins. Oh, those were huge.
Yeah, that's another mistimed Log there. We got to see something to get on top of that first Goblin, then the Log just a bit later. But Igor's okay. He knows he has the Rocket cycle game. Sandbox is the one that needs to make something happen in 20 seconds.
Poison down. Evo snowball to clear. Log.
The drill! The Log is early!
Oh my
God! The Log is early! He has missed so many Logs throughout game 1, or excuse me, game 3.
He has to both cover and have the time for this Rocket. Poison in, Log down, Ice Spirit to clear, snowball in. That's gonna be it! Sandbox takes game 1, game 3, and the win!
Frontier Guard and Vitor 75. Wow. Let's go!
So excited. I love being on the desk, seeing what these players are gonna do. This is what it's all about. This is what we all came here to see. And both players leaking some elixir.
Yeah.
Waiting to see what the other will do.
Makes you think that they're going to go a little bit heavier. Probably not going to go bait for Frontier Guard game 1, which I like. You know, never want to play your comfort unless you're in that last match where they both just went comfort game 1, and it was a very, very great time. And you see wall breakers come out early, so maybe just kind of holding for a minute. Evo Ghost, no surprise there. Zappy's so strong in the meta right now, Juicy. They were everywhere in the 20-win challenge.
Yeah, super versatile. So it looks like maybe 1.9. No, he has the Miner. So Miner, Evo Wall Breakers, Evo Ghost. Vitor looking like Golem, actually.
I was just going to say, what an interesting combination. He's got the Mini P.E.K.K.A, he's got the Skelly Drags with the Zap. He's going kind of Golem control here, if you will. And that's going to be tough for Frontier Guard to break through. He's going to have to get a lot of damage in single and then rely on Miner damage most likely throughout the rest of the game.
Both Barbarian Barrels coming out to defend the role of Ghost. Very common idea. Positive elixir trade.
Yep.
Looking at the matchup in total, I do like it for Frontier Guard with the poison for the Zappies, but he needs to have perfect defenses and he needs to make sure he uses his Evo Wall Breakers actually effectively on defense to deal with those big pushes.
And there's our first Evo Baby Dragon on the day. That's going to be a double connection here with those Wall Breakers, and Vitor just opting to eat that damage, maybe Golem up in the back, and there it is. I can still do this sometimes.
Evo goes to the bridge trying to pressure with the minions.
That's a big amount of pressure there. Skelly Drags coming to clean things up. Minion plus Ghost. That's going to basically be tower down here for Vitor. But we've seen this before when you talk about beatdown decks. You just don't want that Royal Ghost to get too much damage on that Golem.
And it spawns in more ghouls. Skelly Drags do take it out. Cannon on defense, Skeletons, and there's the poison. The poison here is so strong defensively, slowing down everything while taking out the Skeleton Dragons.
5 elixir to deal with this Mini P.E.K.K.A plus Baby Dragon push. The retargeting, though, not going to chase that Wall Breaker down. And here we go. Just play it at the bridge. Pressure at the bridge. Mini P.E.K.K.A gets 1. Mini P.E.K.K.A gets 2. And now we got an Evo Ghost on the board. This is a huge push for Frontier to deal with.
Mini peck at the bridge. Poison is missed. 28 seconds on the clock. The pressure's here, and here's the Evo Baby Dragon. Everything's gonna start moving really quick towards that tower, but the Barb Barrel, Andrew.
It cleans up everything, cleans up the ghouls, and you can see on Frontier Guard's face, he knows this is all but sewn up. Baby Dragon is on tower, but it's not gonna be enough. Big spell, not enough. 576, the newcomer takes game number 1. We'll see Vitor go a little bit comfort to even things up.
Hopping into the game. Both players focus. I honestly feel like Guard is a little bit less nervous. He's starting to kind of vibe out on stage. Vitor's starting with the Miner, Frontier with the Hunter Evo.
Yeah, most likely going Royal Giant. We don't see Hunter in a lot of other places. Can be in different beatdown decks, and then Vitor just going straight up control. Frontier maybe running what we saw Igor run earlier in game 2.
Mighty Miner in the back. This is an interesting matchup. You know, it's fairly even, but the Tesla is definitely going to be helpful versus these Monk pushes, being one of the one buildings that don't get deflected.
And just talking about that 3-card cycle not really existing anymore in Clash Royale, the ability to get another Tesla down is not out there. So you have to think of other ways to defend, other ways to think about that double RG push, or like I've seen you do many times on stream, just get that Tesla out early, cycle back to it.
Big pressure at the bridge. E-Spirit. Will we see a log?
Wow, double connection. No log in.
Crazy. Big connection. Vitor's feeling good, and this is what you were talking about. I think this is Vitor's comfort, right? You know, you play some cycle, got some extra control with the guards and the Ice Wiz. Now, after seeing the Ice Wiz, I definitely feel like this is a very solid matchup for Vitor. It's really hard for Frontier Guard to break through. He almost needs a pre-log plus pre-E-Spirit to deal with the guards.
Yeah, we talk about outplayability with decks. A lot of times the heavier deck gets, the harder it is to outplay your opponent as games go on. RG's a little bit different because the way RG works, you can sequence that offensive push, as we saw Sandbox try to do earlier with the early arrows, then the E-Spirit to jump. But when you're talking about like what we saw in game number 1, it's really just put the golem down, put stuff behind it. Vitor has the ability here in game number 2 to diversify his attacks, change lanes, keep up pressure, get minor damage, get poison damage. I like what he does here in game 2. Play at my pace.
Frontier Guard with the Royal Giant Monk at the bridge. Monk ability is to flank the Ice Wiz a bit, but the Ice Wiz is still slowing everything down. And that is the power of the Ice Wiz versus the RG's pushes.
Great wall breakers there to stop the Fish Boy from pulling in. 20-45, 28-35, 45 seconds remaining here in regulation.
Okay, another Monk. So I'm just kind of thinking, like, if I'm Guard, what do I do in order to win this game? I think that, you know, you need a double RG push.
I was just going to say, do you go RG in the back?
Right. Yeah, maybe. The other thing, you know, you talked about the Mighty Miner change, the 3-card cycle change. The other thing that really makes a difference there is the fact that you can get multiple Mighty Miners on defense. And these wall breakers just continue to connect.
Yeah, another big connection there. Yeah, double Mighty Miner, great way to deal with these RG pushes. Monk, obviously a bit of a frustrating card to run into when you're playing the Mighty Miner. Now we see Frontier go Evo Hunter in the back opposite lane. Vitor goes, I don't want to deal with that. Poison it off the board.
And here we go, Royal Giant in the back. He's gonna use his Fisherman in the middle here to pull the Ice Wiz and also try to pull the Mighty Miners as well. And he's gonna try and get multiple Royal Giants to the board to break through. The question is, can Vitor handle this pressure?
And maybe a poison coming down at the river. There it is to help clean up all those support troops. That Evo RG getting eaten alive. And Frontier opts to not get another RG down.
Yeah, no extra RG and just letting it get melted by the Mighty Miner is wild. You definitely, another big thing about this matchup is just getting your cycle complete in a way that you can get your Fisherman to lock on the Mighty.
RG in front of some guards, Juicy. What's the thought there? You think they're going to try to surround the Mighty Miner or something?
I think he was just trying to take out his opposing guards, but it doesn't work. And now another big counter push from Vitor.
High Miner. High Miner catch. Another connection. 10-32, 27-53. Vitor firmly in the driver's seat.
And we're heading into triple elixir overtime. We have not seen the last spell from Frontier Guard. I'm assuming it's going to be a lightning. I feel like if it was like a fireball, he would have played in the Ice Wiz by now. And a pre-log in the E-Spirit. The guards come down. Will the wall breakers connect? No.
Guards so strong, so strong. One of my favorite cards. There we go. Hunter to deal with the Mighty Miner. So now the RG. They're going to expect the Tesla to come down here in the middle. No, he saves it to get the Tesla opposite lane. Love that patience by Vitor.
Fisherman does lock onto the Mighty Miner. A Fireball comes through in the ISO, so it was Fireball after all. This might be the first damage for Guard this whole game with 25 seconds left. It is a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot. Not enough.
Oh, the wall
break away. Wall breaker connects. 18 seconds. We're going to game number 3 once again.
One last push. It's looking like a game 3 for sure. The Tesla is just cleaning up everything. The Mighty Miner's there once again. Wall breakers come through one last time with a pre-log for style points. Tower down. And ladies and gentlemen, game number 3. Let's get it, Andrew.
Absolutely. You can see the calm on Vitor's face. No celebration yet. He knows there's one more to put in the bank. Gonna take a deep breath here after bouncing back in game 2, and that was real clean, Juicy. Here we go. Game number 3 coming your way. Vitor takes game 2 after Frontier does a dominant game number 1 CRL debut.
Love the graphics here. Once again, guys, this is duels formatting best of 3s. Any cards played previously cannot be played in this match. Cannon card in the back from Frontier Guard and a Furnace Evo from Vitor. Let's watch as these decks unfold to see what these players are using.
Cannon cart and barrel, Evo barrel, we see a lot of mortar. So Frontier Guard might have stolen my heart here and our first boss bandit of the competition.
Yeah, this is an interesting boss bandit bridge span variation, I assume, but he has arrows as well. Maybe expecting that bait element to come out from Guard. And why, well, it is not complete bait. You know, these, wow, Skeleton King ability.
Oh, wow.
Wait, this is a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure, a lot on the board, and Vitor doesn't really have a way to take care of it. He's got to go Spirit Empress up high, and this Dark Goblin should make light work of it, and this is going to be a lot of damage for Frontier Guard. Vitor is very fortunate he got that second shot in from the Empress.
Oof, that Vine spell was amazing. It's really going to stop most of everything, and then a Snowball comes out as well. So once again, before I was like captivated by the Skeleton King ability, this Bridge Frame deck is fairly solid, but the fact that he has 3 spells to be so ready for these bait elements gives him a decent chance of actually coming back here.
Yeah, the fact that he can get on top of that Dark Goblin with 2 different spells is real, and they're both even trades. That's going to be something that's frustrating for Frontier Guard. You got that Evo Snowball to not always the best when you're going up against Mortar, when you're going up against Cannon Cart, and obviously you can get that Goblin Gang down first and then the Skeleton King down second. That's always going to be a great way to clean up those big pushes.
Boss Bandit in the back does very well versus Cannon Cart, but not very well versus Skeleton King. And the Gang as well. Wow. And the Skeleton King ability, maybe 3 spells isn't enough for all of this spam.
Yeah, we'll see how much the Furnace can do against the Skeleton King as time goes on. Spirit Empress could be a bit of an X factor here. The Lightning comes down though. That's a bit tough. Now we see this.
Yeah,
Ram Rider in.
Vines as well. And big connection with the Ram Rider. Snowball a little bit late. What does clean up the counter push. Skeleton Barrel in. What does Vitor have? There's the Furnace.
And this is a great cleanup here. Evo Furnace, those Fire Spirits gonna hop. Arrows have to come down. But now Frontier Guard needs to think about the way Vitor put that push together and how he's gonna sequence those spells.
Does he drop a Mortar? He does drop the Evo Mortar. It doesn't connect. It's a good way to bait out an Evo Mortar for sure. Will the Cannon Cart go down? No, it's alive for the counter push, and another Lightning is probably gonna drop down the Spirit Empress.
And you see that surround there with the Goblin Gang. Gonna go Evo Snowball, pull everything back across the bridge, just as you called it, Juice. Lightning comes down on that Spirit Empress, 1078. Boss Bandit here to clean things up. Goblins as well. Cannon Cart still pretty healthy.
But a Ram Rider.
Pretty good push here now.
Arrows cleaning up, but the Boss Bandit 1 HP. It
That's
connects
huge.
the Mortar. Will we see a Vine spell drop?
We need to see it. There's the Vines right on top of Dark Goblin. Does it charge?
Oh my God.
Wow.
It doesn't connect.
90 seconds remain, 1078, 2095. Vitor setting up opposite lane push, trying to make something happen here in the final 90 seconds.
Big pressure bridge, arrows drops, but now the Skelly King ability is full and ready to go.
Bandit doesn't dash.
Arrows onto the Gang in the tower. Boss Man is getting annihilated by these skeletons.
70 seconds remain here. Vitor down by an arm and a leg. 985, 2095, firmly in control as Frontier Guard, staying on offense. I really, really like that. He's figured out ways to stop that Ram Rider without needing that Mortar.
Arrows drop down as well. Evo Snowball is in cycle. Maybe that's the one thing that could give him a chance to break through, but Frontier Guard is firmly in the lead right now.
And Frontier Guard cycling, you know that mortar's going to be available. There it is, early cycled Evo mortar. That's great against the boss man at 2. There you go. See, Goblin comes down, dash to that Goblin instead of the Skeleton King.
Grand Rider in, Vine Spell is strong, but the Cannon Card's distracting. The gang is there, the arrows are late, and now the Evo Skeleton Barrel. Snowball drops and everything, only 25 seconds left. Frontier Guard is firmly in the lead. And
maybe the biggest upset of day number 1 is about to happen here. Our 5-time world finalist being sent down to the lower bracket, 1888, 1850 to 719. You can see Frontier just sending that barrel opposite lane. It should be all sewn up.
Yeah.
And there it is. The newcomer takes set number 2.
Oh, game number 1, Mugi and Adriel.
Evo Ghost in the back with the Suspicious Bush. Dash from Adriel on the Golden Knight. Looking like at the top, just 1.9 Hyperbait Evo Ghost cycle. Adriel with a nice tornado, but the Ghost stays locked on tower. This is a big connection for Mugi in the first minute of the match.
Yeah, Ghost gets caught on top of the wall breakers, just a huge interaction mistake. Now he's gonna have to take the entire Dark Goblin to the face, and now he's still not defending. His left tower is at 1816, right tower at 1878, a massive and impressive start for Mugi.
This is a very common idea versus this deck though, this Hyperbait cycle, to basically, pick your battles. You have to take some damage. You're going to take some damage, and being able to stay in the Elixir advantage, especially with this very expensive deck that Adriel has, is important.
Right there, Zappy cycled in the back left by Adriel. Should be able to clean up this bush pretty well, but I'm thinking the right one is going to get a shot. No, instead locks onto the Zappies.
Ghost actually does a pretty good job. A little bit of an Evo Breaker connection. But what I'm really thinking right now is like, what is Adriel's last card? I assume it's a Goblin Drill. And if that is the case, I think there is chances for a comeback here with a big giant skeleton push.
Yeah, you have to assume, okay, and that's what's going to make sense. I was thinking that it was going to be Goblin Drill plus Magic Archer, but Magic Archer, it's always going to be able to cycle so easily, so it makes sense that we're seeing Xe. Last card should indeed be Drill.
All right, the dust settles for a moment. We're heading into double elixir time. Adriel's up a little bit of elixir. Let's see what he decides to do with that. There it is, Giant Skelly in the back.
So Adriel going to try and defend properly. Mugi going to cycle the Dark Goblin.
Evo Ghost on defense, does a great job. And this is what Evo Ghost is meant for. You get in cycle, you make an attack. If they try to pressure other lane, use that Ghost to provide a dual lane pressure after defending. But Mugi's doing actually a really good job. The Ghouls do take out the Dark Gob though. The Evo Breakers on defense.
Yeah, pressure. And Mugi's down to almost 0 elixir. The Royal Ghost is going to come down, and it's going to be the Evo as well. And now this Drill, what looked like an offensive push for Adriel, is now becoming just an offensive push for Mugi. The bomb is going to explode, and that is a Ghost not going to get a shot. So just perfect defense by Mugi.
Adriel's locked in too, though. Gold 9 to board. The dash really cleans up the left lane. And now, once again, the dust is kind of settling. Adriel really needs to make another one of those big pushes and make something happen.
Yeah, so what are we thinking? Are we thinking that he's going to have to wait till triple elixir, or is he supposed to? I mean, he's clearly not supposed to be cycling drills. We should only be seeing 3 drills max in this game.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You need to make the big push and use the drill just to supplement that big push. Nice bar drill to defend. And this is looking like one of those pushes that we're talking about. Giant Skelly, Evo Executioner, and the drill inbound. I wonder if we'll see a Gold Knight as well.
And right there, really nice NATO. The XC is not going to be able to lock just 1/10 of a centimeter. I'm not very good with the metric system. We have been talking about that this weekend. And yeah, I mean, just so close. That's a giant skeleton on top of the tower.
And the Evo goes on the left lane. Gold Knight connects. Big damage.
303, 142. Mugi doesn't have an answer. Adriel takes it. But I do want Mugi to win. I need this to be a 3-game set. That needs to happen.
All right, Barbarian Barrel at the bridge from Mugi, Skeletons from Adriel, and a Furnace as well. Bowler, interesting. Maybe Electro Giant from Mugi here.
Yeah, every time you see Mugi run the bar barrel and the bowler, you're thinking it could be Loon Freeze. It probably isn't. It's probably the E-Giant, but it could be.
Mighty Miner continuing to push forward. And it is looking like E-Giant. Adriel's side kind of just looks like Hog Earthquake. You know, Hog, it definitely took a backseat a little bit after the 3-card cycle change, but now it's kind of deciding to come a little bit more back in the meta here.
Yeah, Mugi going to be running E-Giant for sure. Last card's Lightning, NATO, and what's the other? Oh, it should be the Ghost. But no Ghost.
Evo Valkyrie taking the place of the Ghost here. Tornado does activate. Mighty Miner is still a threat.
Baby Dragon.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah, Baby Dragon Evo is definitely here. Lightning, Baby Dragon, last cards. Mighty Miner ability, it locks on. Mugi's low in elixir. It's a really solid amount of damage. Will this E-Giant get anything on the back end? It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, wow. Adriel with a very strong push, and now this Goblin Hut, as strong as the Goblin Hut is, sometimes it gets into these situations where it's a little too slow, it's not getting the exact value, all the cards are dead, and so now it's not getting any offensive pressure as well. And right there, Goblin Hut not putting in the work that it usually does.
Furnace in the back. Gonna deal with the Baby Dragon pretty well. Matchup-wise, you know, historically, Hog EQ has done very well versus E-Giant. But with this E-Giant variation, with Bowler, NATO, Evo Valkyrie, and Goblet for the Hog, it's definitely not as difficult for E-Giant to win. But Adriel with such a solid lead definitely puts him in a spot where he can try to just defend for the rest of the match.
Oh my goodness, and the Furnace still locks onto the bowler the entire time. Unfortunately gets struck by the bowling at the last second. Otherwise it would have been able to stay alive in the tower. Takes out the E-Giant perfectly, plus the Barb. And the Mighty Miner is going to come down just in time.
Baby Dragon on the board. This Baby Dragon, mark my words, that is the card that will give Mugi a chance to come back. A lot of the time you see a very common sequence where you go Electro Giant in the back, Evo Baby Dragon, and while the Evo Baby Dragon is still on the board, you get to another Electro Giant and you speed it towards the tower to win the game.
Yeah, Mugi just waiting for that opportunity to happen. Adriel just cycling Furnaces, cycling Teslas. I mean, it really, once you get into overtime, it feels like he's never able to go on offense. It's just always defense, 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 and this should be difficult, and it's not going to be Hog EQ. We're going to see Hog Lightning, and I don't know how that affects the matchup. I think it should make it a bit easier to defend.
Yeah, the Lightning is so much better than Earthquake here. Yes, Earthquake's good for his Goblin Hunt and for chipping, but, you know, I just said, you know, Evo Baby Dragon is the way, right? But then the Lightning immediately dropped onto it, and now, you know, Adriel's in a really solid spot. Although Mugi is chipping away throughout the match, all of a sudden it's like very close, or just a lightning margin between the players here.
Yeah, really, really good micro from Adriel. Putting the Ice Spirit down, not having the bowler target the tower, and not the Tesla as well. It's going to stay alive long enough for it to get value on top of this E-Gen as well. So just one tiny little micro play that you don't really think about, that's going to make this defense so easy.
Evo Furnace is getting cleaned up by the Barbarian Barrel, but the Skeletons are trying to protect. Evo Valkyrie now on the board, and we're heading to triple elixir overtime. High anti-lightning Tesla placement, but an E-Giant nonetheless.
Right there, Lightning on defense by Adriel. This Baby Dragon is going to put in quite a bit of work, and that Mighty Miner going to put in all the damage? No, gets the bowler to half health, but there's a lot of troops that are stacking for Mugi.
A lot of stacking. Tesla does end up taking the Dragon out. 35 seconds. There's the Evo Baby Dragon. Evo Tesla trying to lock onto the Dragon, and he gets it. This Evo Baby Dragon getting taken off the map is imperative for Adriel's defense.
Yeah, and right here, Mugi just placing troops down on the bridge, not using his Lightning, trying to go troops first and foremost. This is the Lightning. This is the push that he was looking for. 15 seconds left. Can he get the bowler? The Mighty Miner activation, it's going to be able to stay.
Wait,
I think the
bowler's locked. The Tesla's trying to stop.
The bowler gets the second shot.
Baby Dragon connects. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. All of a sudden, Adriel, the perfection through the first 4 minutes, 45 seconds. Final 15, can't do enough. Mugi's able to come back, and he's able to bring it to a game 3.
Spear Empress from Adriel and a Evo Skeleton Barrel for Mugi with the Mortar Evo as well.
So technically, we could be seeing a repeat of what we saw with, I believe it was Vitor and Frontier, but already looking a little bit different. So There is a mortar deck. Okay, so Ice Wizard as well.
Miner tanking for the flying machine. Minions are going to clean up pretty well. Looks like Adriel's got like a lava miner deck, except Mugi has a lot of air defense, honestly. He's got the Ice Wiz, he's got the minions, he's most likely going to have arrows. He did not use arrows previously, so yeah, arrows to clean up lava puffs as well. The big question is like, what kind of spells is Adriel going to have with this lava miner deck in order to try to break through these defenses?
Yeah, I think I'd like to see. I mean, honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about lava. You know, if there's anybody that's going to be running it, I guess I want Adriel. It's clear that they have a plan. They know what they're supposed to be doing, but lava just scares me in these kind of competitions.
Mortar is going to get one hit. Spear Empress continues to get value. And then the Flying Machine as well. These air units on Adriel's side of the map are getting quite a bit of value. But the cannon card does lock as well.
Yeah, that's going to be 3 shots right there. Empress on top of the tower. Can it get 3 shots? It absolutely will. 2131, lowest tower for Mugi, 2150. I mean, this is, all knotted up, and there we go.
Oh, the Goblin Curse comes out. You can hear the crowd, like really just astonished. This card was really strong a month or two ago, and after the nerf, we don't see it as much anymore. But if there's any use for it, it's in this game versus the gang, versus the minions, and versus that Evo skeleton barrel.
Yeah, it's like they drew it up perfectly. Adriel finally, no, still not going to set up with the lava. All right, he's clearly had a ton of practice. A lot of these pros, especially in these like big competitions, you're not able to think as well as you usually would. Okay, do I lava now? Do I lava then? When do I do it? He's decided that in this matchup, it's all about the defense. Wait until overtime, wait until double elixir. I love that he has such a clear plan in mind.
Big counter push. Spear Empress staying for the miner. Flying Machine plus Ground Empress in the left-hand lane. Trying to take the Ice Wiz and clean up the counter push. Goes the gang. Does he go for Curse Zap? No. He goes for, he does go for Zap.
He has no elixir, 3 elixir, arrows come out. He gets the tower all the way down to 428, and oh my, all of a sudden, Adriel's in a commanding lead.
This is unbelievable.
What just happened?
He's playing Lava Miner, and he has not played Lava on a single time. Instead, abusing the Spear Empress, abusing the Flying Machine. This is what I talk about. This is what Adriel does best. He finds the weaknesses in the matchup and then uses that to the perfection.
I mean, just beautiful work by Adriel. He's going to be able to clean up the mortar easily with the Flying Machine. Mortar does get a shot, but at this point, I mean, it's just a matter of time.
When the machine's on!
The machine won!
The machine
it's
won!
over!
And Adriel takes game 3! He takes the best of 3, it's over! Oh my God!
How? Every single game, it felt like it was just one little interaction.
Dare I say this?
Team number 1, Lucas and OP Sam. And Sam opening up with Royal Ghost, both directions here. These two did face off in 2 duels this year, splitting it 50-50. Sam taking one, Lucas taking the other.
E-Spirit able to allow the Ghost to wake up. Ghost takes out the other Ghost from Lucas's side. So a strong start. Both players pretty much playing the exact same card so far.
Yeah, looks like it might be a full mirror match. We'll see if Lucas is also going the log variant or if he's going with the bar barrel. Getting aggressive early is Lucas.
Hunter plus Fisherman plus Skellies, all 8 elixir, going to be able to clean it up. Only 1 shot from the RG on Lucas's end.
Let's see how cheaply Lucas can handle both the Hunter and the Fisherman here. And so far, pretty inexpensive. And he eats 1 shot from that Hunter on the left-hand side, lead ever so slightly to the OG.
And right there, Prelog trying to catch something, and that's going to be an Evo Ghost, allowing the Ghost to get to the tower, and he's going to try and set up with an RG push, RG in front of the Evo Ghost, and this is a lock coming down the lane.
Fish go boom on the side of Lucas, and old school combination, here we go.
I mean, that was perfection from Lucas. He's able to bring the RG in. Hunter stays alive, takes out the RG, and now Sam is going to have to defend again. And that's going to be a little bit of damage. I mean, this is close. Both players are building completely different pushes, and yet it's still as close as it is.
And the Evo Ghost causing problems on both sides of the board, Josh.
Yeah, it's so tough to stop. It's such a good card right here, going in all in with the Bridge RG, Evo RG as well. Fisherman going to yank it inside, and he doesn't have enough for the Hunter. Instead, going to elect to just defend with the Fisherman plus log. RG only gets 2 shots.
And Lucas playing that Fisherman, knowing he wanted to get enough DPS to let the Evo RG knock the Fish Boy off a little bit. And that has worked out for him. 13:07 the mark on Sam's top left-hand tower, about a 700 and change lead right now for the Brazilian.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. Both of these players have not used their spells. Usually we expect to see the fireballs get cycled. Even the lightning is getting cycled because of the Hunter and the Fisherman together. Instead, both players not doing that whatsoever.
And this could turn into a lot the opposite direction. Here we go. Evo Ghost has spawned.
We've been waiting for that the entire time. Hunter does not get the shot off, so a really solid defense, and that's going to go invisible again. No, beautiful E-Spirit by Sam. That should have gone invisible. Instead, perfect timing, allowing the Ghost to start its swing. It stays alive, and I mean, as good as that was, Lucas still up quite a bit.
And nobody here able to really shut down these RG shots. They keep on chipping away, and as long as this goes this direction, Lucas is in a great spot.
Can he protect it? E-Spirit is going to be able to stop the Skellies, the Fisherman against Fisherman. RG should get only 1 shot, I believe, and that's exactly what's going to happen. This might be game if he isn't able to defend properly.
And 1 shot from the Evo RG. Does it get a second?
Oh.
And it does get a second!
It's just going to be a fireball log away, gets the tower down to 15 HP. Sam is going to try something, anything. I don't think it's going to matter. Lucas already stepping away from the screen.
Let's get into game number 2, and you also see, you don't forget this, I think Sam is like 6'7". He and Morton are both 2 towers, and I remember Sam complaining about having to crouch down on the towers back in the CRL Teams era, and you see that big man get down low here. Is that affecting his gameplay?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to assume it is. It can get kind of uncomfortable, but you know, that's the price of fashion sometimes. You got to look good, it doesn't matter.
And here we go, 4 bait cards in a row for Sam. Lucas with NATO and Barb Barrel.
Plus the Knight as well. We sometimes see Graveyard. We sometimes see a little bit else. I honestly do not like Graveyard in this meta right now, but I guess if there's one player that's going to still always do well again, it's Sam, but you know, the first 5 cards are all bait. Okay, he is just going to go with E-Giant. It is just the normal variation, not the Valk, going to be running the Knight instead.
Look at all the bait on the board here. Now you have the Rascal Girls, so many targets, and of course they'll all charge up that Skeleton King. And solid DPS, able to take down the Electro Giant.
Dark Goblin Dark Goblin putting in a ton of work. Skeleton King, you could activate the ability, but it does feel like an overspend, and so he's going to just take a break, relax, try and get into double elixir, try and get a surround on top of the bowler, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Skarmy surrounding the bowler, and still a little bit of a counter push, so like how he's approaching this.
And NATO pulls just to reset. Vines put the dragon on the board. First 2 minutes away. So far, pretty even, slight lead for Lucas, crosswise, top left, down to your bottom right.
Yeah, there's 2 reasons why that Vines was amazing. You force out the Knight because you're just trying to make Lucas have to overspend as much as possible. But the other reason is you're going into double elixir. You get to spend more because you're going to make more. So I like the awareness of recognizing what time it was and that he was going to be able to do it. Beautiful Evo Skarmy cleans up the E-Giant easily.
And puts that pressure on the left-hand lane as well.
Yeah, really expected the Dark Goblin to be able to snipe the Baby Dragon. Instead, the Knight gets played down just in time. Mother Witch puts in a lot of work against the Evo Baby Dragon. Baby Dragon not going to have any sort of counter push whatsoever.
Keep in mind, everybody, as you're watching at home, Sam does not have any way to get direct tower damage. No spells except for the Vines, which is a minor amount of damage onto that tower. So you might see him get some chip, but if he gets down, he's going to have to get on tower.
Ooh, Ooh, and doesn't get the right timing. The Skarmy is before the NATO. We see Lucas shake his head. It looks like he thinks he has this confirmed.
E-Giant going to work on that right-hand tower. Now Lucas starting to pour it on. 2 bowlers and a baby dragon.
Beautiful bowler right there. It's able to get on top of that. I don't even remember what the first card was, but it's able to take out the second. I mean, just beautiful positioning. Gets the tower down to 1270. A huge lead for Lucas, and he looks so confident right now.
And this is where Sam gets into a lot of trouble. He has to get on tower, and as we get deeper and deeper, and that elixir flows more and more, let's see. Will those activate? Nope. Good touch here for the E-Giant.
Yeah, he just has no answer. He has no building. I mean, it really comes down to that one massive mistake. The Skarmy is played too early. The Vines are too late. But this is also just a brutal matchup in general. And right there, you know, with everything not going his way, good job with the wall breakers. It's able to connect with both of them because of the placement.
Lucas opting to eat those 2 final minute triple elixir. And as I was saying before that last push, this is where Lucas can put on whatever he wants. He can slow down if he needs to, just one more lightning away. And this is where Sam gets into a lot of trouble, where he has to break through, has to get on tower. So you see the full send, the full sellout here. Evo Baby Dragon slowing everything down. Wall breakers trying to get through. Skarmy trying to do it, cannot get it done. No lightning block, and Lucas will take it in 2. Mohamed Light, Sandbox, game 1.
Sandy going fast here in game number 1. Love that confidence.
And doing the Mo-Light opening. That was not a thing you did with split wall breakers behind King Tower until the man on the left invented it.
And Momo looking like he might be going to E-Giant. Also parts of Graveyard here.
Certainly smells that way. Miner there to hold everything together, and a NATO to clean it all up. Mohamed Light, maybe not totally happy with the way that went.
Either that or he was like, that is exactly what was supposed to happen. I'm in my zone right now. Cleans it all up. Baby Dragon gets on top of tower. He's got the lead early here in a match where your opponent is the one looking for more damage in single elixir.
First minute away. Sandbox opting not to eat that one. Had the skellies ready. And I love that we're seeing Sandbox confident playing bait or playing a cycle deck against Mohamed Light to open.
I like it. I mean, we've talked about outplayability for years now. Give yourself a chance. The other part of that, though, is when you have a deck that moves a lot faster, when you have cards that are a lot cheaper, if you make a mistake, it's very, very costly and hard to bounce back from.
And Mohamed just slowing things all the way down.
Sandbox making sure he's not going to give away that King Tower activation. NATO was completely out of the meta for quite some time, just came back in a couple months ago. That nerf was brutal, but now the coupling of units on the board and what's actually working in the meta as we're seeing right now with Baby Dragon, that was not exactly what Mo wanted. Baby Dragon still should get one little burp on tower.
Plenty for the Evo Ghost. Bowler picks up high. Wall breakers don't get touched by the bowler, and that forces out the hut.
And Minions doing some work here. Evo Knight, though, should be able to clean most up. Man, that Royal Ghost just does so much damage. And as we saw in that last matchup, as actually we've seen all day, you never want to let that Royal Ghost go invisible again.
This time switching sides. Miner to the back for Sandbox.
And there's the E-Giant.
E-Giant's not going to touch the breakers, though. NATO for King Tower activation.
Cannon going right into a Baby Dragon, though. That is not what Sandbox wants. And Minions putting in work. That range buff so effective against the E-Giant when before it was completely useless to play Minions on top of an E-Giant. Or near it, I should say.
And at the moment, as we are getting into sudden death overtime, it is Sandbox with this critical game 1 lead, 17-31 to 23-13, but we've seen this song play out before.
Yep.
Sandbox playing cycle, we're in double, we're getting closer to triple against E-Giant.
Well, it's really important for Sandbox is he's got to keep up the dual lane pressure. As you can see, and as you all know, when you're playing against E-Giant, the last thing you want is that perfect push to come together, and the best way to do that when you have a deck like Sandbox's, rely on your opposite lane pressure, rely on your cannons, your high DPS units, and just control the board, control the pace.
Bar barrels have been really nice for Sandbox so far. Mo sets up Bowler one more time to the left.
Baby Dragon has to get kited by that Miner. Minions come down. Minions going to get cleaned up for the most part with that Baby Dragon shot. And Evo Miner in front, there you go. An odd high cannon there. You think that's going to be sniped off the board. And Mo can see a big opening.
Second cannon to pull, not enough for Lightning.
The double bowlers on the board, cleaning up that Royal Ghost. Now we got the lineup. Bowler very healthy.
And what a save.
What a bar barrel. You are so right, Rich. Good damage on the right-hand side, though. Towers basically even all across the board. Sandbox in the lead with 1584 being the lowest tower on Mo's side.
Mohamed changes lanes, goes to his strong side with the E-Giant, 40 seconds-ish remaining.
Rich, for how insane of a matchup this is, this room, you could hear a pin drop right now.
I mean, it's absolutely silent. Damage continues to stack up for Sandbox. Now E-Giants in both lanes.
30 seconds remaining. Sandbox is going to have to play the best defense of his life. Baby Dragon there. Lightning comes in to clean things up. Second cannon comes down. 1391.
Lightning wanted to predict.
Oh, the bowler lines up. The overwhelm. Mohamed Light endures.
All it takes is one.
A little smile and look up there from Mo, and if you guys are familiar with watching him on broadcast, that is a horrifying smile. It looks sweet, but you know when you're playing against him and he's vibing, it's not a good place to be in. And he's playing Mortar. He's got my heart.
A lot on the board for Mohamed Light to deal with. Valk, Baby Dragon, bowler on that left-hand lane.
That E-Wiz is such an interesting pick. The stun ability is going to be very, very impactful throughout this matchup, and I think Mo's feeling good about what's happening.
Perfectly timed log. An ability to... Maybe Mo didn't expect to go all the way past the bridge.
But that bomber just walks off into no man's land. Cannoneer going to clean things up, and that Boss Bandit putting in some nice work. Going to be a good King Tower activation here from Sandy.
You see the little nod from both, the happy version from Sandbox, the slightly frustrated version from Mohamed.
And that's what Sandbox got to do. You spent your 10,000 hours playing this game. Make the interactions that you know, take the wins where you can get them, stay in it.
First 90 seconds away. So far, a little bit of chip damage on the right-hand side. Cannoneer for Mohamed Light, so it doesn't have the lead despite the damage so far.
And Berserker, such a great card in the game. So strong defensively, has enough HP to kite units like this Baby Dragon away. Mo's happy to take that fireball damage, and now we've seen the full deck come together here for Mohamed Light.
And very interesting, kind of this Mortar spammy combination. Dash 2 gets on the Valk.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You can get the Boss Bandit to come in and create space, get some damage in, and right there, huge damage.
Boy.
And that's exactly what I was just about to talk about. As soon as it starts, it's over. 204 remains. He's got Fireball. He's got Log. And if anyone can defend for 40 seconds, it's Mohamed Light.
Yeah, trying to break through against a Mortar on top of all that. The E-Wiz for the stun. And you kind of think you see Sandbox recognizing that, as we talked about, going from preparing for Igor to, oh my, I have to face Mohamed.
And he's going to take that fireball damage right there. Evo Mortar comes down, and this game happens so quickly. Obviously, not a great matchup. Mortar matches up very, very well against E-Giant. He's got the E-Wiz in there to stun and slow it down even more. Boss Bandit to tank on the ground. And what I was going to say about the synergy of the deck, the decksmanship, if you will, I love about it is that the Boss Bandit comes in and creates space. Then you drop the barrel behind it. Then the Boss Bandit comes back, barrel crosses the river, and they've traded places in tanking, and now the Boss Bandit's tanking once again, but it's dashing. So that synergy is absolutely insane. And Sandbox just didn't know what to do with it. Sub versus Frontier Guard.
Favorite card, Marcher Frontier card. That is really interesting. You know, I don't pay too much attention to these side stats, but that is definitely one to really look at because Magic Archer is really not used at all by any of the other finalists. So
yes, this is why we're buddies. I was thinking the same thing earlier when he was on screen and that showed up, and I didn't mention it, and I'm very glad that you did. Magic Archer just not very popular right now. We saw a couple Marcher decks that kind of showed up before the 20-win challenge very recently in the meta, but they haven't been really anywhere.
Right. Yeah, and both players kind of leaking some elixir. waiting for the opponent to make the first play. This is very common in Clash Royale. You know, your towers, I always tell people all the time, your towers are the only thing in the game that do not cost elixir. You want to make use of them as much as possible by luring your opponent to your side of the map.
And in case your memory is as bad as mine, remember Frontier Guard did hold for pause game number 1 of his set number 1, but he was running a fast deck, as you can see already with Knight and Barbaro. Definitely going to go a bit heavier. Juicy, this feels like pieces of Graveyard, but not a lock.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be Graveyard. It's most likely Graveyard. There are definitely chances for other things. Sub, on the other hand, looking like an Electro Giant deck, honestly. Electro Giant Evo Cage. Matchup-wise, I would say usually Graveyard can win this because it's really solid control, but it really depends on what building Frontier Guard has.
And there it is. Graveyard comes down right away. Early Graveyard pull. We see the Evo Cage come out. That's not usually the way you want to defend.
Yeah.
And you can see Frontier Guard with a big smile on his face. The aggression pays off once again. And that's one thing I've loved about watching this guy play today. He is not scared to bring it to your door.
It's true. He's really aggressive playstyle, and I think that really works out in World Finals, where there can be a little bit of nerves. And once again, you know, Sub on the outside, not showing many nerves, but that cage, you know, the common idea is to pull the Knight into the cage so that your Princess Tower can target the Graveyard skeletons. And I'm just seeing a little bit of mistakes here from Sub.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about with nerves beforehand. You know, Sub has not been out yet. Frontier Guard has already played through a match that people thought he was going to lose, and he goes right back to being hyper-aggressive. Bar barrel through, Ice was down. Great poison value here for Frontier Guard, and he has locked that defense down, 24-44 to just below 2,000 on Sub's side.
Cage once again trying to get the Evo in cycle, and it's actually not E-Dragon, it's Golem.
It is Golem.
Golem from Sub. That's interesting. I honestly think you'd rather an Electro Giant.
And it's so interesting because in our player interviews, we talked to them, we sent out a questionnaire. He said he'd want to remove Golem and Goblin Machine from the game. That is what Sub said, so maybe thinking his opponents did a little bit of homework, some trickeration, as Rich said before.
Okay, Golem, Evo Baby Dragon on the board. The lightning drops down, hits the Ice Wiz, the Goblin Hut. Evo Witch is on the board. It's going to do a decent job. Tornado? Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that NATO. Does clean up a lot of stuff there. Not going to take care of that Evo Witch, though. Although Baby Dragon does retarget on top of her. I think she's going to stay alive.
Wow.
And that is a bit frustrating if you're Sub. You know the Graveyard's coming down instantly.
But the Witch Evo does get taken out, and the Barbaro kites the Knight forward, so the Princess Tower is targeting the skeletons on defense. That was one skeleton for that entire 5 elixir. And look at the Golem at the bridge.
Golem at the bridge, Golden Knight behind. Sub now in the lead, 1896, 1372, 80 seconds remaining.
Lightning, boom, boom, boom.
Beautiful lightning.
Everything on the defense, and this Golem is still held.
Oh, and now the dash! Oh! It just misses it.
I can't believe it doesn't reach. Wait, the Goblin Hut will get death damage? It does. That's big death damage here, Andrew.
And you got to remember that the Golemite's doing a little bit more damage now, too, all the way down to below 400 HP. This is one of those I can defend in cycles, so we're going to see Frontier Guard switch lanes.
Knight, Witch, Evo, Cage pulls in.
And this is exactly the defense you talked about earlier, Juice, and that's what I love about Sub. He recognized the mistake early on, he fixes the mistake, and now he's firmly in control. That's what consistency is all about.
Yeah, with 35 seconds left, Sub just needs to cycle back to another Graveyard. This is last chance from Frontier Guard to make a Graveyard push happen, but I just don't think it's enough.
It's definitely not going to be enough. He'd need a freeze, he'd need vines, he'd need a miracle. Lightning at the bridge, and that again, that is such a smart play. You might just think, oh, why doesn't he take the tower? He's already won the game. If somehow there's a lightning block that comes in, I mean, honestly, near impossible, but if somehow it happens, then Sub loses. He's not going to lose this way.
Yeah, the Baby Dragon's just cleaning up. The Golden Knight is there. This is the experience that it takes to be a champion. Sub taking game number 1. We're into game 2, and you can see the previous battle decks here. None of these cards can be repeated by that play, and we do see another mortar. I think he heard you.
I know he heard me. He can hear this room. My voice is echoing. Thank you, Frontier Guard. Wow. I hope it pays off.
Okay, a Vine spell, not quite quick enough. The Cannon card taking on the Witch. This counter push is definitely threatening, and he used Barbaro previously, so he doesn't have... Oh! He gets the Valk down in time.
And you heard the crowd gasp there. Valk comes down after one shot in from that cannon cart. It ends up being a pretty clean defense here for Sub as they both basically reset. Elixir slightly in favor of Sub just because he has a building on the board.
So sub with Graveyard, Frontier Guard with Mortar. You know, honestly, when I look at a matchup like this, I just see Evo Valk value and Evo Witch value. That is unless Frontier Guard has Lightning. We've seen Mortar decks like this with Lightning previously. If he has it, it's going to be a game changer.
And we saw this deck run earlier by Igor without Lightning, and he was really wanting for it. And then when you talk about this matchup, it looks like Sub is probably running Graveyard with Evo Witch with that Vine spell, which is basically a freeze now. And when you're going up against Cannoneer, you got to be feeling pretty good when you're running GY.
A Mortar at the bridge. Let's see if it can lock. The skeletons from the opposite lane will distract, and then a Gob Hut. This is the one thing in this matchup, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about
please,
it.
no, go ahead.
No, yeah, I mean, when I am playing Gob Hut, the last thing I want to play against is Mortar and Expo. You know, those siege units are really a struggle to deal with.
Yeah, and I was actually just going to say, if we were going to gush about the balance team, I think they did such a great job with the rework of Gob Hut, a card that was basically dead and now has found itself incredibly competitively viable. And we see a Valkyrie plus Vines at the bridge to try to clean everything up. Does a pretty dang good job of it, too.
Okay, Guard does get some early damage here in this matchup, but what Graveyard is all about is just defending, waiting for that correct moment to get the counter push and go all in with the Graveyard, the poison, everything.
Now, I don't think this is a lost matchup by any means. One great part of it is that you have the Cannon Cart to do some great damage up at the river, but you have the Goblinstein to kind of set the line against a Graveyard. But Juicy, when you talk about matchup, do you think that this is still in favor of Graveyard just because of Cannoneer and Vines and all that?
Yeah, and then with the Miner, we're not going to be seeing Lightning either. So this Evo Witch is going to be an absolute menace, not only on defense, but on offense. And here comes the Graveyard, Andrew.
Yep, first Graveyard in. There's the Miner coming out defensively, poising to get on top of that Goblin Stein Doctor, not the monster.
Witch, once again, just healing herself.
Yeah.
Blocking the Mortar with the Valk. Witch does go in front. Will the Cannoneer lock onto the Witch? It does not. On the Skeletons, it's getting distracted.
Wow.
This Witch is a threat.
And now it's going to get on top of the Berserker, and then it gets on top of the Valkyrie.
Wow.
This Witch is still alive, and Frontier Guard having to spend an arm and a leg to defend.
And he finally gets it down, but now he's just down so much elixir. The Graveyard comes through, and the ability does defend. Kind of a nice gang in the other lane to kind of like force out some elixir.
Yeah, that way you're not able to drop the poison on top of, the Goblin Doctor once again.
Well done from Frontier Guard. Once again, it seems like his playstyle is about aggression.
Yep, and that was a great way of recognizing what would I do if I was in his shoes. I would poison out again, let me get aggressive, let me pull some elixir to the opposite lane.
But still, it's Sub up in the damage lead. And in Triple Elixir, it's only going to get more difficult for Guard here. Graveyard is known to thrive in the Triple Elixir overtime.
Goblin Gang plus Miner. Witch going to come out to clean things up. 2 Witches on the board. A lot of Skeletons to gain health from. That's a pretty decent poison at the bridge. Doesn't even need to do it. The Witch stays alive so long, and this Goblin Hut does great work against that Goblinstein.
Evo Valk at the bridge. Evo Witch at the bridge. So the next card will be a Graveyard.
This is a scary
And after that, a poison.
Juicy's calling it right now. There's the Graveyard. He got it. There's the Vines coming in. Doesn't even need the poison.
Wow.
The Skellies take out the Doctor, and that's going to do it. 2 up, 2 down. 4th place in 2024. He's back.
Yeah, and when it comes down to it, there's pretty much like 3 phases in Clash Royale. There's the physical, the mental, and the coach. The coaches for both of these players, incredible, and the physical and mental are incredible. And I got Juicy pointing to it, so I will call it out. We do have the Chef Tower coming out from Adriel.
No, yeah, I can't believe this. I think this is the first Chef Tower of the day, and, you know, I don't blame him. But Ian is so prepared for it. Oh, my goodness. So Chef is definitely going to be a Golem deck. But Ian literally has Evo Valkyrie and Evo Goblin Cage in preparation for this Golem, for this beatdown deck.
Okay, so it looks like Ian's taking a page out of Adriel's book. Using Lava, we'll have to see the rest of his deck, but I believe it's going to be Lava. We could see maybe E-Giant, but with the Arrow showcase as well, I think we're seeing a Lava versus Golem matchup right here.
Lava versus Golem is interesting. I mean, usually, this is, I don't know, I'm not really sure, but basically, the way I look at this is that neither player will be able to break through very easily. Adriel's got the Zappies, the Spear Empress, and the Furnace for air defense, and Ian, on the other hand, with the Evil Valk and the Cage for the Golem pushes, I don't really know. Maybe I'd give a slight advantage to Adriel even.
Yeah, I think I have to lean towards Adriel's way, but I mean, really it comes down to can you use the Evo cage, get it to work like it needs to. The bar barrel early plus the vine should be able to take it out quickly, and that golem is full health. That is a wonderful job, and yes, all your support troops are going to be dead, but that's a golem on tower. We'll take that if you're Adriel.
Yeah, he does get quite a bit of.
Exactly.
Because I thought that cage, getting taken out so early would be a struggle, but that's why they call Spear Empress the mini P.E.K.K.A of the sky, really putting out mad DPS.
I didn't know that. I think that's a great name, yeah.
That's what I call it anyways.
Okay, all right. I'll allow one of those. So yeah, that's your coin's turn for the tournament.
Okay, Lava in the back, in the left, and then we see on the right, Adriel with the golem in the back. So we're going to be seeing two big lanes either side.
Yeah, trying to get that knockout blow. The golem going on the right side, the lava going on the left. It's interesting, Adriel played it late. He wanted to defend with the zappies, plus the bar barrel. Beautiful perfection, almost perfection. If that timing would have been just a little bit better, those skeleton dragons would have been gone, but instead they follow behind.
Wow, and the lava in front protects and tanks for the Spear Empress. Zappies on defense once again. It's really close game right now. Arrows coming through, and the lava bones are trying to chip. I mean, Josh, this is wild. This is insane. It's like two beatdown decks, but really good defense on either side.
Yeah, and right there, gets the interaction correct. The Lumberjack goes to town on top of the Empress, and right there, Valk plus Empress, a little push. It's those weird push.
Definitely going to be fairly useful. Spirit Empress connects. The crowd is roaring. They know that little amount of damage, it might seem like a little, but that is a huge difference maker throughout a match like this.
Yeah, and right there, Adriel playing the golem first, and then Ian responding same lane. So it's clear that the lava player wants to go same lane, the golem player wants to swap, and both players are aware of that.
Lumberjack is going to go towards the cage and not to the tower. The vines do prevent the golem from getting pulled. This golem is looking like it's going to connect for some mad damage. Ian kind of scrambling to prevent the damage, but he doesn't have enough elixir to go lava in front here.
Yeah, good arrows getting a ton of value, and we see the angry face. This is also why Ian is so appreciated amongst some. Some people don't like it. I love it. Yeah. He is not afraid to emote, not afraid to have fun with it, and right there, showing his anger, but still in this game.
Spear Empress from both players. Another golem push from Adriel trying to extend the lead. We're into triple elixir overtime, and an Evo Valkyrie is in cycle to try to deal with this, but a Vines taking off the board immediately.
Yeah, only gets one swing. We do see the defensive lightning, and it was well timed, but it doesn't feel like you're getting enough value. It feels like Adriel is just totally running away with this.
Lava Hound plus Skeleton Drags at the bridge in the other lane. Zappies and Vines plus Bard Barrel is a solid way to defend, and it's looking a little bit like Ian's chances are dwindling.
Yeah, I mean, 20 seconds left. The Evo Furnace in cycle is always going to help him out. We do see a Lightning. The Rage should be able to help out. 1492, 1142. Ian trying to get himself back to another Lightning. Adriel just going to cycle. Both players at this point, it's either you got the spells or you don't.
The
4
Lightning,
seconds.
Will it drop in the last second? The Zappies, and it doesn't get down in time. Adriel taking game number 1 by the skin of his teeth. To be fair, I don't think the Lightning would have done enough. Yeah. He's got a lot of people. I don't know. It's the term of heavy lays the crown. And Ian doesn't have really the crown per se when it comes to competitive, but when it comes to being a very known person in the community, sometimes it's a blessing and a curse when so many people are rooting for you.
So game number 2 underway. Adriel took game number 1, and no way are we going to see another Lava Hound deck. We are seeing the guards and the Valk get cycled, especially the Evo Valk as well. Ian on the other side could be running the Giant Skeleton Drill deck that we've seen earlier today. Still a few more cards to go, and there we go. Giant Skeleton in the back by Ian.
Interesting. I forget who it was. Maybe it was Adriel. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Adriel who won with this Giant Skeleton Evo Ghost deck in his first round. He was playing against Mugi using Hyperbait. So Ian kind of taking a page from Adriel's deck picks, and looks like Adriel doing kind of the opposite as well. Looks like a lava deck, and once again, the Zappies are going to be really strong here.
Yeah, I mean, Zappies are just kind of a wonderful surprise. I really enjoy metas that have Zappies in it. I feel like I don't know why. I feel like it's a card that I shouldn't like, but you know, the stun, 4 elixir, it feels like a healthy meta whenever the Zappies are in the meta.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look at this matchup. I mean, this is going to be a really, you know, kind of grindy matchup of making pushes, defending. We see a nice drill placement from Ian to the back of the tower, and it actually pans out for some solid damage.
Yeah, right there. Baby Dragon was actually a great response as well. Zappy's low to be able to take out the Valk plus the Baby Dragon, and still should have a little bit of HP left, especially when he plays the Golden Knight to protect him. And we should potentially see a dash. No, just gonna wait just a second and not gonna dash. Just showing some patience right here on the grand finals, or the world final stage.
Adriel does find a time to go for the lava in the back, and Ian's only air defense, or might just be Zappies. I'm not sure what the last card is going to be, but it has to be another evolution. So I don't know. I feel like once I see it, it's going to be like a no-brainer. There it is.
And right there, it is the Evo XC. XC coming down. No Evo in cycle just yet, but this is a pretty big push. We should be able to see
what, the lightning?
A NATO.
Okay, NATO. Arrows get down a little bit late, but the Lava Pups and Baby Dragon do get on the tower. Adriel getting some big damage, and Ian throwing out his classic good game. He's trying to play some mind games here.
El Clasico using the good game. It's not over just yet. Don't believe him, even if he is saying that.
Golden Knight on the left with the Evo Exi. I mean, yeah, it's still very possible for him to win this. We saw a similar situation when Adriel's playing this deck. Oh, wow. The lightning arrows from Adriel knowing the tornado comes out was impressive, though.
Yeah, tower down to 19-18, but a lot coming down the left lane. Ian going to be forced to respond to that, and now no Evo XC in cycle. So the next lava could put in a lot of work from Adriel.
Giant sitting in the back. Evo Ghost trying to get some value on offense. But the Cage and Baby Dragon do a great job. Adriel continues to apply pressure in the other lane. And honestly, that is the biggest play that Adriel's made this game. You do not want to go same lane versus Executioner deck.
I mean, I just wonder if Adriel is somehow a one-trick. Did we not realize that this entire time? He is playing lava absolutely perfectly, but this is a pretty massive push. Xe doesn't shoot on top of the tower like I thought it would, but does get the tower down to 1196. This is a big push.
The Lava Pumps are getting lots of damage as well. We finally see the Golden Knight dash. It's big damage. Ghost doesn't connect, and Ian takes the damage lead for the first time this game with 45 seconds left on the clock.
Baby Dragon Splash saved his tower right there. Lightning coming down, 357. Drill gonna go on offense. It's just who can win this game right here. We should be seeing a dash. The guards do protect.
Oh my God.
273.
The NATO.
The arrows come down in time. He does protect the tower. 145.
The Giant Skelly doesn't hit. The lightning.
The Cage
gets
is
the
in
lightning
time.
block.
92.
The Executioner.
Can he protect? He does.
Oh!
Adriel gets it. Adriel gets it.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go. Game number 1 underway.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, and I'm so glad to see it. I was expecting Pedro to potentially go either RG game 1 or Minor game 1. Instead, he goes Hog, a little bit different. Lucas playing Royal Giant again here. I think he's running back the exact same deck from before. I think he was looking for potentially a mirror matchup one more time.
Yeah, definitely could see that. Lucas, I mean, it's clear that RG is his bread and butter, and, you know, he talked about it in his post-game interview. I played the mirror matchup 1,000 times, and if you've played the mirror, you've played against this deck, you've played against Hog, you played against all these, and right here, I mean, the question is, does he feel comfortable? We'll have to see as this game goes on.
And we're going to see this a lot. The Hunter behind the Hog. Hog gets a couple big shots, plus the Firecracker Splash. Big opening here for Pedro.
Yeah, Lucas has to be upset beyond belief. I have no idea. I think the Hunter forgot how to shoot or didn't shoot or something went wrong, and the Hunter put in absolutely 0 work.
First minute away, massive lead for Pedro, 1804 on that right-hand tower. Just a tiny bit of chip for him on his side, and Lucas sets up his Royal Giant. Now, Josh, talk to me about this dichotomy here where, you know, one of Lucas's best ways to deal with that Hog Rider, obviously going to be that Fisherman, but he also has to contend with the Mighty Miner working on that Royal Giant. Yes, he has the Electro Spirit here. How's he going to be able to do double duty here?
Yeah, it just gets interesting. You're trying to wait for double elixir, trying to get the multiple RGs. It just gets super awkward for both of these players because, yes, you can defend with any 2 troops. You can defend with the Hunter plus the E-Spirit, get 0 damage. But at the same time, if you place the Firecracker behind him, right here, Pedro,
wow,
too late with the cannon. The RG is going to lock on. This is just difficult for both players. That's why this matchup gets so interesting.
And just more than happy to go ahead and take that fireball onto the Firecracker, get the Evo off the board. And after 2 minutes, we're pretty much all square.
Yeah, all of a sudden, this is, I mean, this is a game. And here we go, Hunter plus Log going to be able to clean that up. And he does protect the Hunter from allowing the Firecracker to splash, gets the E-Spirit. Oh, beautiful job from Lucas. Incredible micro.
And slowing down a bit now is Pedro. He does have a slight elixir lead when you don't count the troop on the board, and able to cover, does not get a shot. King Tower activation playing a critical role there.
Wow, and Hunter learned how to prioritize. His Hunters have been absolutely perfect as this game has gone along. After the first one, it's just been gorgeous work from Lucas.
Here we go, sudden death overtime on its way. Pedro ahead by 3 and change.
Right there, Cannon going to be able to defend the first RG, but you know there's a second one coming along soon, and there it is at the bridge. Evo Ghost on the right side, going to clean everything up and take it out while protected. And this second RG should be able to get a shot. It does not, so perfect defense from Pedro. And now 120-ish HP separated in 2 players.
But you think about the quality of that defense, Josh, and you're still giving up a couple hundred damage. This time, Fishboy should be more than capable. And with the stun, still gives up a hog shot. And you see Lucas very unhappy with that.
Yeah, very frustrated. The Ghost doesn't get down in time. Yeah, just doesn't get down in time, really. And right there, the Hawk does get one shot. Fisherman cannot get the pull. Beautiful. You know, we talk about the micro of Lucas. That micro right there from Pedro was amazing.
Firecracker goes back behind.
Oh.
Hog should still get one, and it does.
The Evo RG placed into the Mighty Miner, a huge mistake, and Pedro just licking his lips. That was way too easy. That should never be happening on the World Final stage.
High Hunter plus E-Spirit. Tries to pull the Mighty Miner over. Hog is running, E-Spirit stunning. Able to stop it this time is Lucas, but time ticking away, only 45 to get that damage back.
The Evo Firecracker not going to be able to lock on right there. That Fisherman, a beautiful E8. Can it get another one in time? It doesn't. Hog gets a shot on top of the tower.
It was the E-Spirit just completely shutting that whole thing down, and now it's last gasp for Lucas.
Yeah, and right there, 2 Mighty Miners on the board. This is one of those matchups where you don't need the 3-card cycle. You love all the Mighty Miners as if you can. Pedro, what does he have for this?
Evo RG on tower, Cannon comes down to hold. RG in one more time. Lucas has to get so much done. Fishboy trying to pull. He needs to get one shot, can't get it done. Fireball in, won't be enough. Game number 1 for Pedro.
Well played coming out from Lucas, the emote, the hog emote, and the Barbarian flex coming from Pedro. You know, you don't get that coach on stage, so being able to know everything you really want to be doing, it's such an interesting conversation to talk about having a coach, not having a coach.
So here we go, Miner from Pedro in game number 2, going to Comfort after getting the win outside of his normal set. And Electro Giant for Lucas.
Good placement on the E-Giant. Not going to allow a ghost shot. And then Pedro, is this Mortar? No, gonna be the Goblin Hut plus the minions. We're probably looking at Minor Poison.
Ice Wiz plus minions. Pulls it all to the middle with the NATO to get them off the board, but not gonna get much more than that is Lucas.
Yeah, really do not like that NATO from Lucas. I think it's a pretty massive overextension right there. Forces out the barbell as well. And Pedro up 2.5 elixir. And just, you know, he's cycled his Evos. The Ice Spirit easy to cycle, Ghost easy to cycle. So just a really great start for Pedro.
Lucas did play Electro Giant in an in-game duel, not an out-of-game duel, so preset decks got the win over Pedro. Slightly different variation, didn't play the Golden Knight.
and I was just waiting. I'm telling you, the worst interaction in the world, the one that makes me throw away the game, I'm not playing this for one more second, is missing a miner when you have Skarmy. That is the worst interaction in the world. But he got it. He got it,
yes. Bar Barrel takes a swing, and the Evo Ice Spirit forces out 4 Elixir from Lucas. You don't want to take those little extra tips.
Yeah, Lucas kind of okay with cycling the Baby Dragon, trying to get to the double Elixir, triple Elixir. And then Pedro, this is what happens. We see Miner Poison, and he's going to start to get really aggressive. These Miner placements are so interesting to look at from Pedro.
Yeah, in that anti-NATO spot to the outside. Lots of damage here. Minions able to really put some work on that right-hand tower. And once again, Pedro opening up the lead early.
Yeah, right here, the E-Giant just not putting in the work that needs to be done. The Ice Wizard spread out to the side, plus the Goblin Hut. It's just too easy for him to defend every single time. Never getting an opportunity for his opponent to NATO it to the King Tower. I mean, this is just picture-perfect play from Pedro.
That was a lot altogether.
Yeah, I cannot believe I got it done correctly.
E-Giant set up. We are deep into double. What do you think of the chances here of Lucas actually breaking through against, we have the Hut, we have the Ice Wiz, the ability to shut things down with the Ice Spirit as well?
I mean, I don't believe in 0% chance, but I do believe in 0.1, and that's what it's really looking like.
And this is what we were talking about, right? The deck progression stuff where you go, hey, here what we think we need to cover after game number 1. And so far, Pedro and Jose looking like they have got Lucas's number.
Yeah, right here, 1:40 left. We're seeing him poison nothing, so you have to be a little bit worried about the big push coming in from Lucas. If Lucas doesn't get it here, it's over. He needs to get it here, in my opinion.
90 seconds left. Baby Dragon puts a little bit onto the Ice Wiz.
Beautiful.
Lightning clears.
Yeah, beautiful timing right there with the Ice Spirit, trying to keep the Ghost alive. Minions trying to stay out of range, forces out the NATO from Lucas.
And Lucas just can't get that much out of the NATO, right? He's not using it to be able to get a big Golden Knight combination. He's not getting the breakthrough on the E-Giant. This time it picks up the Miner, having to mitigate some of that problem. And at this point, Lucas opting to go into the weak side.
Yeah, and I almost want to point out the first mistake I've seen from Pedro. I would like to see him switch up the Miner placement. NATO out of cycle. You've been playing it there every single time. But yeah, both of his towers are basically at 3K. You know, I don't want to get too nitpicky, I guess.
And these minions have just been absolutely shredding these Electro Giants. You know, and we talked about it earlier, the extended range now making it so that they can do a whole lot of work. And Lucas has been trying to find a way to break through with the NATO, hasn't done it yet. 30 seconds left. You talked about do or die, Josh. This is the one.
Yeah, E-Giant on the left, E-Giant on the right. Baby Dragon just dead. It's gone. It's finished. That is massive for Pedro's defense. This shouldn't even be a struggle. The Ice was going to go to both lanes, and there we go. We finally do see a push.
Golden Knight in. Miner able to hold here, and that's not going to be enough. Golden Knight dashes. Electro Giant will not be quick enough. And Pedro comes out and does it the easy way. 2 games up, 2 games down.
So here we go. Game number 1. First elimination of 2025. Who will survive? Sam versus Sandbox.
Zap for Sam to open things up.
And Sandbox going to Mortar. And bam, Boss Bandit. Maybe he saw the success that Mo had with Boss Bandit earlier today. And he goes, all right, let me see if I can put my own deck together. Mad Scientist gets in the lab.
Yeah, I'm curious where he's going. And the only Zap deck I think I've seen him run as of late is maybe a Sparky deck, which I obviously don't expect to see here.
Yeah, maybe some sort of Ram Rider or Bridge Spam.
And a little slowdown here. Cannon Cart comes out in response to the Furnace.
And it's always nice to have Cannoneer when you're going up against the Furnace. It's never nice to have Cannoneer when you're going up against Graveyard, and that is part of the journey, we'll call it, with Tower Troops.
Indeed, here we go. Goblinstein in the back.
Stein.
And you got it there, Andrew. Ram Rider. It's a little bit of spam here.
And having So many ways to control this Ram Rider. You've got the Goblinstein stun, you've got the Ice Wiz to slow, you obviously have the Mortar, and of course you have the Evo Valkyrie. So many pieces come together here for Sandbox when you talk about defending. Now, how will he get this Spirit Empress taken care of in the skies? That's another question I'll have to answer in just a little bit.
And you think about this too, Sam, for a long time, known for being a Piggies player. This would also have some good coverage on Piggies as well. So good broad pick from Sandbox.
And not going to pop the ability here. I think worried maybe where that Boss Bandit dashes on top of the Goblin Doctor, and if that happens, it's game over.
Should not make it. There we go.
Really nice cleanup there. Gets the value of that third card coming down. Sam not happy about it, understandably so.
But despite kind of getting stymied here, Sam has not given up damage. He's still holding on to that lead. With the difference in starting HP between classic Princess Tower and the Cannoneer. And the curse doesn't actually curse anybody.
And should be nice to be able to defend this without having to use lightning on the right-hand side. Although, wow, Ram Rider connects. You could see Sam right there, a little nod, going, finally, something's going my way.
Yeah, he's got to find ways to buy that little bit of extra time and get those connections. Going into sudden death overtime, Sam has taken the lead in game one, that right-hand tower down to 21-15.
Curse plus Zap, so fascinating. The Spirit Empress plus the Evo Furnace is going to be such an interesting thing for Sam to play with. That lightning is what Sandbox is going to want to obviously get on top of both of those units, but you know how it is in Clash Royale. You got to get that lightning, you got to bait it out somehow, and then take advantage of the other card.
Big, deep breaths from Sam.
Feels like both these guys are playing with just a little bit more pause than they were earlier today, knowing what's on the line. $10,000 is not a bad way to go home, but it's not what you want when you get to World Finals.
Needs to cover the Mortar. Goes with the Skellies.
Would have loved to see that Mortar come down after the Boss Bandit dashed on top of the Valkyrie. Just a small mistake there from Sandy.
And this is going to be a connection.
Yeah.
Boom, it touches. But now on the right-hand side, look at this.
Yep, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen with this Goblin Doctor. Will he, won't he? We've been playing that this entire game, knowing that his opponent is going to be focusing on that. Doesn't pull the trigger once again.
Final minute. Comfortable, but not completely insurmountable lead for OP Sam.
42 seconds remain, 19:08 to 24:90. Spirit Empress over the middle, right next to the Furnace. Fascinating there, almost asking for the lightning to come down.
Dash will hold the cannon cart on the opposite side. Mortar getting picked up by the Furnace.
And gonna need a little bit more love on top of that Mortar. And he just goes Curse. And that's a perfect defense from Sam. Lightning comes down. Sam's still in the lead.
And I don't think that we can see another lightning here from Sandbox. That's going to be very hard. He might be able to get down to one. Curse for some more damage. Zap for some more damage.
Can he stop it? It's not enough time. And you see right there a huge sigh of relief from Sam.
Here we go. Sandbox going minor.
Oh, there we go. Beatdown like you called, Rich. It's very rare we see E-Dragon with anything other than Beatdown. Usually Golem. Could be Elixir Golem. Might make me sick if it is.
Well, Sam certainly has gone that direction many times. Elixir Golem in the mix, and he has played that now with the Monk. It's very likely he's playing Elixir Golem here.
Yeah, and he's got the delivery. Plus Evo Tesla is one way to take out an Evo E-Dragon. Curious what the spell's going to be.
Yeah, this is a deck that Sam went 4 for 4 in competitive this year. So E-Golem, Battle Healer. We'll have the NATO out there. He might be going Dark Prince, and there we go, the Bomber.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot for Sandbox. You know, we saw it happen earlier against Mo, where he was able to lock down the game playing a control deck for 90% of that 5 minutes. But it only takes one big push, and Sam already starting to think about what that push might look like.
This is interesting because Sam typically runs this with Dark Prince, not with the Berserker. So the Berserker does give him a faster way to pick up those miners, but now you have the problem of the guards.
That is just a little bit too much damage to take, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He hasn't created a push. He's going to try to turn this into something. A delivery should come down after that shield goes down. Should be pretty easy cleanup. Actually, you know what? The Tesla's going to get involved. There is the delivery. I don't love how much damage he took that early on.
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
And you know what? As we've all seen against Eagle and players on ladder, they just ignore that you're playing the game, and they just play their game down one lane. So, you know, he didn't just sacrifice the tower and put that Eagle and push together. He's paying attention to Sandbox's pressure. We'll see if he needs that elixir later on.
And Bomber going to the opposite lane here, so he has some dual lane pressure. Sandbox, lots to contend with.
And Monk does not get the aggro from the Tesla to use that ability. And Battle Healer has no targets to heal up the E-Golem. Sandbox then decides to go right back with the Miner. I actually really like that play, late guards.
Yeah, very smart from Sandbox. Now he's going to get a little juice back in the Collector.
And Rocket, that's such a good Rocket. You can see
yeah.
Sam, I mean, he was maybe hoping it wasn't Rocket, but we all knew it was Rocket.
1188, Sam hanging on.
Yeah.
This deck can get annoying very fast. Sandbox cannot get complacent.
My least favorite deck to lose to. And I lose to it a lot.
And still building up dual lane pressure. Now he knows he has to deal with delivery and Rocket. So that does really kind of take the wind out of your sails for a big single lane downhill push.
I just wish earlier on he would have either committed to defense or committed to offense instead of playing the half and half game. Now he finds himself wanting this entire game. He cannot afford to lose a tower now. That's what all E-Golem players love to do, is lose a tower early in single and then destroy you in double and triple in a 2-tower game.
And you see, the sweat starting to build on the brow of Sam as he's pretty sure he has to come up with a third deck here.
Yeah, absolutely. Miner goes in, does get the activation, but now the Battle Healer isn't even close to the E-Golem, so something that was supposed to help him out ends up hurting him. And playing some Sim City as Sandbox, why not? Get as many buildings down as you can.
Yeah, it looks like Austin with all the new construction. It's a joke for a very small number of people.
The 12 of them loved it. And Rocket in, 470 down to 421. And as quickly as this game started, I know it took 4 minutes to get there, but it felt like the writing was on the wall the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, especially once he went down, once you talk about really not making a choice of which way he was going to play. I know, there's a lot up there.
And that delivery comes in, Tesla down. Sam knows it. He even got a smile on his face. He's like, all right, let's just move on. This is painful. Let's get to game number 3.
I mean, but this is one of those things we're talking about, right? This is Sam's most played deck. And look at Sandbox. Tesla, delivery, Dark Prince, guards, Rocket. I mean, this is just tailor-made to shut him down.
Yeah, and I love the push that we saw earlier, Miner plus guards. That is such an incredibly brutal offensive push that is so cheap. That's why Sam was caught picking and choosing what he wanted to do. Did he want to sacrifice that tower that early on?
Yeah.
Who stays alive, Sam or Sand?
Evo Valk out. Yeah, here we go. Bait for Sam against Hog. So interesting, with Tesla out, with Mortar out, Sam seen an opportunity. Sandbox other side going some pretty classic Hog Rider.
Rascals have been showing up everywhere. Last little bit, Vine's coming down, take care of that Princess. Nice 3-for-3 trade. And saving the OP card does OP Sam do for game number 3.
I like this. I like this pick a lot from Sam here with both the delivery and the log out, you know, opening up some good opportunities. Barb Barrel gone too. The question here is, what else does Sandbox have? Was he trying to cover bait here, knowing that a lot of his bait counters were gone?
And Skelly's plus E-Spirit doesn't get cleaner than that. Perfect predictive play there by Sandbox.
Man, imagine making that kind of traffic jam and the Hog still hits.
Yeah, crazy. 24-18, 28-84 is the only damage Sands takes so far. And maybe some, oh wow, I'm gonna have to use the Vine. Still has 5 elixir in the tank. Does take a Prince shot there. Not ideal.
But no charge, and that was the big thing you wanted to avoid. know, it's interesting seeing the Firecracker in this one. It makes me think back to the introduction of the Firecracker in that 2019 season when so many of the pros were so annoyed by her presence.
Yeah, well, she's stayed pretty annoying since then, but obviously she's become an integral part of the game and going to have to be something that Sandbox is very, very aware of. And you saw right there, Evo Skeleton's doing such a great job. Evo Firecracker getting just one shot on the tower. Oh no! Oh no! Evo Skellies! Evo Skellies, we're going to do it!
Stop! They can't stop! Never stop! Oh my word!
Wow, okay, he's still in it, but that is absolutely devastating. Those Evo Skellies were a talking point for defending against the barrel. I did not think they were gonna take almost Sam's entire left-hand tower, and now Sandbox gets to sit back and play defense for the next 38 seconds to 2 minutes and 38 seconds.
And we were sitting here looking at, hey, what are Sandy's options for really shutting down the bait part of things, and it's Sam who gets the eye off the ball here.
And Sandbox looking to get that damage in. Curious what that last card's going to be. We've seen a lot more Hog Lightning these days. It is
the
Earthquake. And now we're just in a cycle situation. Anything can happen in CRL, but it's starting to feel like lights out for the German.
Yeah, it's just a waiting game. Sam, big sigh. Sandbox gets it done and stays alive in CRL 25.
Here we go, our final match of day one. Will the two-time world champion stay alive, or will the rookie pull off the biggest upset of the day and be back tomorrow?
Skeleton King versus Evo Ghost.
And there we go. Gonna start right out the gates with Royal Ghost.
You're right.
And Hunter, he wants to run Royal Giant. He wants to take control of this set.
Wow, and I saw the Skelly King, I was thinking, okay, classic Frontier Guard with the Mortar Bait again, but after a Fisherman, is this just this is an RG mirror matchup, except Frontier Guard has the Zappies, which is actually huge for this matchup, especially if Mugi doesn't have the Fireball.
That was such a beautiful recognition of the fact, I mean, he's played this matchup and these interactions so many times. He logs that Fisherman back to get off of the Hunter to focus on the other Skeleton so it can take out the Skeleton King. That is how precise he is with these cards.
Big Royal Giant push at the bridge. Skeleton King trying to cover, but the Fisherman is going to pull. Fisherman pulls the opposing Royal Giant, but that Ghost is still alive at 1 HP.
Ghost is alive, goes invisible, has to log. Now no support for the RG in the opposite lane. Mugi's going to let the Royal Ghost Evo do it. Hunter gets on top of the tower. Fishboy gets on top of tower, and now a counter push opposite lane.
And this is why you do not play against Mugi using his best deck in elimination match.
And look at the prediction on the Skarmy. Beautiful stuff from Mugi.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, Frontier Guard, RG in the back, big pressure out of the lane. Evo goes perfect on defense, and like you said, the pre-log is just the icing on the cake.
You can see Mugi taking those deep breaths just like Sam was, feeling the pressure, feeling the heat, and Frontier Guard does not have that same jolly disposition we saw earlier. RG in the back, RG at the bridge once again. If there's a fireball there, that tower is going down.
Wow, no fireball, so it is going to be lightning. That actually gives Frontier Guard a chance to win this game. These Zappies are so... No! The RG gets 2 hits through the Zappies Fisherman. That's wild. I don't know if there's a chance for comeback.
Fisherman pulls it just far enough away from the Zappies, so the stun isn't in play.
Wow.
Now, Frontier Guard is firing back here. You can see a little tilt of the head there from Mugi. 1210 to 596. Right back on offense, right into a Fisherman.
The log is valuable. Will the RG connect? Fireball drops down, and it gets 2 shots, and all of a sudden we have an even game.
Frontier Guard in the lead by 41 HP. 24 seconds remain in regulation, and it was a fireball, but Mugi had to hold it earlier because it would have been too much elixir spent with that Evo RG already on the board.
And Frontier Guard's going for it. Skeleton King, Royal Giant the bridge. The Fisherman's locked, though. The Fisherman's locked. Evo Ghost is connecting. Oh my God.
Double Fishboy, 335, just needs 2 fireballs.
Another RG the bridge from Mugi. Zappies on the board.
Fisherman blocking the Zappies. There's nothing to stop it. And the shot's in!
Oh my goodness. What a crazy match, but Mugi takes game. Both players, nope, drill right away from Mugi trying to press the advantage further.
Both of them going hyper aggressive.
Ooh. Fascinating. Okay, so Drill versus Miner. A lot of the time, the Miner is just going to win this matchup because the Ghost and the Barbell so good versus Drill on defense, and the Miner just simply a little bit more consistent on tower.
Get that Ghost out early, get those extra Evo Ghosts on the board, get the Barbell in second on that Evo Snowball. We'll see if Mugi can play through this.
Tesla does a good job to control here. Fire Spirit as well. But the minions take out a lot of the Tesla here, so there's not much on the board for Mugi. Both players just saving up their elixir. Dust kind of settling. Frontier Guard has a slight elixir advantage, so he will be making the next play. Let's see what he's got for us.
And just a snowball to cycle. Get that Evo Snowball involved in this game as soon as possible. If you don't know what to cycle, cycle one of your Evos, unless they're super expensive.
Such great advice. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly why Frontier's playing the Ghost here. You know, that's the second time he played the Ghost. He'll have the Evo next in cycle. He can use that on defense at some point, but Mugi wants to go and drill while the Ghost isn't there.
And wall breakers, they're going to tank.
Wow.
Barbell going to clean up.
Perfect.
Nice defense, yep.
Wow. Yeah, Bomber going to drop down on defense. Does splash the Spear Goblin. And the other big question, the final question is, what are the last cards? So Frontier Guard, most likely going to be Poison.
Yep.
If Mugi has a Rocket, that could be a difference maker.
Very interesting. You get that Rocket out. Pre-Rocket when you send in the Drill takes the Ghost out of the conversation.
Right.
Panic Barbell, then Evo Snowball. I don't know.
I think Andrew might be cooking. He might have just predicted how this game could end, but let's see if Frontier Guard can realize that and adjust his gameplay accordingly.
And nice use of the Drill there to stop those Evo wall breakers from being a threat. And it is Rocket.
Oh.
Great call, Juice.
Wow. And the Rocket damage is just one of the things in Clash Royale. Unless you have a Monk ability, my chat was always like, oh, if you had Monk, it's like, what do you want me to do? Hack into the game and get my Monk mid-game? The Rocket is just guaranteed damage here.
And then early cycle it, know that you're going to immediately hit the ability. Yeah, there's a lot more that goes to that conversation, but no Monk in play here for Frontier.
Yes, sir. Instead, another Ghost trying to cycle to the Evo. Now going other lane, doesn't want to give the Rocket value, but Mugi continues to pressure.
And that's a good Evo Snowball on the wall breakers. Barbell misses. Goblins get on tower, and now a pretty useless push on the right-hand side. All going to get cleaned up by this Bomber.
Wow, and Mugi is just in perfect form here, and he continues to apply pressure. And once again, no Ghost for defense. Let's see if the Barbell's enough. But look, the Fire Spirit.
Fire Spirit jumps. Decent pressure here on the left-hand side.
my.
How's Mugi going to stop all this?
Okay.
And still gets a wall breaker connection. Frontier Guard still in this. 1985, 1358 for Frontier. A minute 45 remains on day one. Maybe can Frontier keep this to game 3?
Will he play the Poison? He decides. Okay, does go for the Poison. The minions are a slight threat. Will the Bomber get a hit on the wall breakers? They don't, but the guards are defending. Mugi, I mean, Frontier Guard is still up some elixir, though. He's doing a great job of pressuring.
1703, 1358, 80 seconds remain.
And he just continues to throw Ghost, minions the bridge, forcing out defensive Evo Snowball. But man, in 15 seconds, we're going to triple elixir, though.
And the Royal Ghost, you have to spend on it. You can't let it get on top of tower. Nice, fortunate interaction there as Frontier Guard narrows this gap by quite a bit. Mugi doesn't like that, sends in the Rocket. How's Frontier going to punish? He's got the Evo Tesla.
Wow.
Beautiful play.
Yeah, the Evo Tesla takes out the minions, but also the Evo Ghost ghouls. And now Mugi continues to increase his damage advantage.
I enjoy that we get to say ghoul now.
W. Yeah, I agree. I mean, great card. It's not doing the work for Frontier Guard, though. Mugi, this is his adaptability, right? Like, he knows how to counter the new cards in the game, always.
I love that he sent in the Rocket to make his opponent want to sell out left-hand lane, baits it out, gets the Evo Tesla in, and he's back in the driver's seat. Unless that wall breaker, oh my goodness.
Another Rocket in, but the Evo Ghost is back in cycle, and I don't think there's an Evo Tesla here, so this might be his one chance to break through.
Evo Snowball gets on top of everything. Fire Spirit going to clean everything up, and that is the hero Fire Spirit.
The Ghost is dead, the Rocket is in, and Mugi with the 2-0 sweep sends Frontier home.
Our two-time world champion stays alive in an incredibly close 2 games, but it's still a sweep. Mugi will be back tomorrow. Frontier Guard will be sent home. $10,000 and a big pat on the back and a great showing for his professional career here at CRL.